We are so close to 20,000 subscribers here on TalkNorwichCity. If you haven't already, please click subscribe. We are under 60 subscribers away. Let's try and get there. 20,000 subscribers. Let's do it. We are top of the league. Say we are top of the league. We are top of the league. Say we are top of the league. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to TalkNorwichCity, bright and early on this Sunday. Rather cool, calm November Sunday. Absolutely buzzing. Norwich City have gone top of the Championship table after a 1-0 win over Middlesbrough. I had to get up early today. We did the watch along yesterday, and I always really struggle to just switch off after the watch alongs because they're just so... I love them. I love them so much. There's such energy. It's quite, exhausting talking for 2 hours, 45 minutes or however long we're live for. But when I switch off, I'm absolutely out. And I was asleep by like 9:30 last night, I think. So I missed Quest. Just caught the highlights this morning. And yeah, Norwich City have got the job done. I think in terms of... performances, it was one of the more smash and grab performances that we'll see from Norwich City. But again, I don't care as long as we're winning football matches. That's all I'm really bothered about. This was a tricky game. Like, let's not get that misunderstood. This was a really tricky game, as will Tuesday. Then it gets slightly easier, but an away trip to Middlesbrough is never going to be easy. And we've seen Norwich City get thumped at the Riverside in the Championship before. So to win there is really important. And to be fair to Daniel Farke, that's now 5 wins from 5 matches against Middlesbrough in his reign at Norwich City. So he clearly loves playing Middlesbrough. This was a completely different Borough side, managed by Neil Warnock. So we knew exactly what we were going to be getting from them. A few really quality players in there. The fact that they can leave a Sombalonga and even Patrick Roberts on the bench shows that they do have some quality in that team. Johnny Howson, of course, running the midfield, and I thought had the better of the midfield in the first half. Tavernier, they have got some good players, and they were 7th in the division in 10 games unbeaten for a reason. But Norwich City come away with the victory. I think it was one of the more fortuitous of performances this season. I cannot believe the penalty that they scored and then was disallowed. I haven't seen that in a Norwich game before, I don't think. Tavernier hits the ball, it clips his left foot and then goes in. So hits his right, clips his left, goes into the back of the net past Tim Krul as he slips. But of course you can't kick the ball twice in a penalty. So it was disallowed. Very, very lucky. It was one of the penalties that Tim Krul hadn't saved this season. But even though he didn't save it, he still managed telepathically to put Tavernier off, and the goal didn't stand. In terms of the first half performance, I thought it was poor from Norwich City. I think the game went in a way that we didn't expect it to necessarily. I think Norwich expected Middlesbrough to sit really deep and soak up pressure and be really defensively resolute. Middlesbrough's defence were, going into the game, and probably still are, the best in the division in terms of underlying data. They'd given up just 8 shots on target in their past 7 games. Like, that is ridiculous. They're only averaging just over 1 shot on target per game against them over the last month or so. So that's ridiculous. And for Norwich to score a goal, let alone have a couple of shots on target, it's really impressive from an attacking point of view. I think we expected them to sit deep though in the first half, and that didn't really play out. Middlesbrough were actually quite attacking. I would say had the better opportunities and the better flow in that first half. And for me, the game was going to be won or lost in the middle of the park, and I think Middlesbrough had the better of that. Johnny Howson ran the show. Don't think it was Ollie Skip and Lucas Roop's finest 45 minutes. I think that turned around in the second half when we actually started to play. But it was really wise of Daniel Farke, and I think he's really improving in this element of his game. And look, I've been critical of Daniel Farke recently, but I think he's starting to really show why he's so highly rated at Norwich City. He changed it up at half-time. Teemu Pukki comes on. I'm not sure if that was a forced substitute. I know Jordan Hugill looked slightly uncomfortable. He fell over a few times in the first 5 minutes, hurt his shoulder, I believe. So that could well be an injury, and I hope it was an injury because it would have been harsh on Hugill to pull him after 45. But Teemu Pukki comes on and completely changes the dynamic of the game. With Hugill, you're almost looking for him to hold the ball up and bring Poeta and Buendia into the game. Pukki is who brings Stiepermann alive, and Stiepermann brings Pukki alive. Within the first 30 seconds of the second half, there was a lovely passage of play where Pukki lays it off to Stiepermann, Stiepermann lays in Poeta, and it's suddenly 2-on-1. All Poeta has to do is cut it across, and Pukki's got a tap in, and it was a really good interception from the Middlesbrough defender. But that was a sign of things to come for Norwich City, and Poeta grew into the second half. I thought his first 45 minutes was one of the worst performances in a Norwich City shirt this season, but the second half delivered some really inviting crosses that could have easily been tapped in or diverted home by a defender. So he had a better second half, but for me, Pukki is such an unbelievable talent at this level. Like, I've said it so many times, and that's not like a unique opinion because we know how good Teemu Pukki is, but there was a bit of criticism for him at the start of the season. Didn't necessarily hit the ground running, but it's 5 goals in the Championship for him this season. Not too many players have scored more than that. We're probably looking at Adam Armstrong, Ivan Toney, Zhao for Reading, and then there's not too many more who scored more goals than that. So once again, Teemu Pukki showing that he is one of, if not the best striker in the Championship, and to have him come off the bench is just such an unbelievable position to be in for Norwich City. And Norwich City were light. I think we named 2 substitute goalkeepers on the bench. Todd Cantwell once again injured, which was a real shame because I think yesterday's game would have suited him. But, we got the penalty, well deserved. It was definitely a penalty. Max Aaron's going down. I think it was Paddy Davitt that tweeted, we can't underestimate Max Aaron's at this level as well. It was that, bit of dynamism that we maybe hadn't seen too much of in that second half. And wins the foul, and Teemu Pukki, unlike his penalty against Derby where he slipped and hit the crossbar, diverted home comfortably past Bettinelli. So from there on, it never looked like Norwich City were going to lose. It looked like it was more likely that we'd had a second rather than they got an equaliser. So Norwich go top of the league. Now it's Stoke, as I say, on Tuesday night, and then it's a slightly easier run. There's a few home games in there: Coventry, Luton, Sheffield Wednesday, I think 3 of the next 4 after that. So we're in a really good position now, and I know everyone said this, but it does feel as if we've still got a few more gears to go through. I don't think yesterday was Norwich City's finest performance this season. I think we've put in better performances in games that we've lost in. But it seems as if we are just knowing how to win games. And that's brilliant because in the Premier League, it felt like we just knew how to lose games and we just didn't know. We were so naive about things. This season, it's completely different. And I think that's partly down to the defence. We have to mention the defence. Grant Hanley, if it wasn't for Tim Krul's heroics this season, I think Grant Hanley would be my player of the season so far. He's been magnificent. Max Aarons is just superb. We've said it before, he's a Premier League footballer. There's no doubt about that. I'm really hoping we are top or second come January, because if not, he's gone. And then Zimmerman and Gibson. Ben Gibson's been brilliant as well. I think, his performance yesterday, he gave away the penalty, didn't he? It wasn't his finest performance, but we still kept the clean sheet. So that's brilliant. And then Jacob Sorensen. There was calls from Neil Warnock that he should have been sent off yesterday. I think that would have been harsh for him to pick up 2 yellow cards in that game. But let's not forget, he's not a left back. And I think that was one of his most mature performances in a Norwich City shirt yesterday. I thought his positioning was wonderful. He's really high up the pitch quite often, and that's really crucial to the way Daniel Farke sides play. We've seen it, haven't we, when we had Jamal there, and still have Max. He likes to push his wing backs high up the pitch. So that's really great. And look, if Javi Quintilla was back for Tuesday, which he won't be, but if he was, I don't know if he gets straight back in the team. I really don't. It's really unfortunate about Ballymumba being out for 10 weeks, because I think he would have started yesterday. But even so, Jakob Sorensen's been brilliant, and he's really growing into that role. So really happy about that. As I say, there's still more goals, gears to go through, and I still want to see a few more goals from Norwich City, but I wouldn't put yesterday's game into the form lines in terms of goals. I think if you're a gambling man, 1-0 Norwich was probably the safest bet you've placed all season. It just felt as if it was going to be that way, and Middlesbrough created a few opportunities. I mean, the penalty they'll be really gutted about, and that was desperately unlucky, but it never really felt like it was going to be a high-scoring game, and it wasn't. Norwich sound defensively this season, Middlesbrough sound defensively. It was just going to be who had the most quality going forwards, and it was Norwich City as we predicted. So really good stuff. Buzzing about that. Back again on Tuesday night for another watch along against Stoke. We are so close to 20,000 subscribers, so please hit subscribe, and let's try and get there either today, tomorrow, but definitely Tuesday. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you've got another Google account, hit subscribe on that. Tell your mum, tell your dad, your grandma, your granddad, your uncle, your aunt. Get them involved on the TNC journey, because we're really trying hard this season to put out some good content. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Norwich City are top of the league. You heard that correct. Soak it in, have a morning coffee, and just close your eyes and imagine that Pukki goal again. Glorious. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.